Pasadena Parks and Recs Commission meeting to order today at 6:30. If staff could take roll.
Sure. Vice Chair Rocha,
Present.
Commissioner Chapman, Commissioner Chapman,
Still muted.
Commissioner
You kind of cut out.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Present.
Commissioner Thomas,
Here.
Council Liaison Donovan.
Here.
Okay, there goes roll.
Great, thank you. And then did we receive any public comments or have anyone here today that would like to make a comment from the public?
We did not receive any public comments.
Great.
We have no email public comments. Is there anybody from the general public? I see an Alex and a Mitchell on our call. If you would like to comment on non-agenda items, this would be your time.
Just here to support John and listen to what he's got to say.
Okay,
All right,
great.
guys.
Likewise.
Great.
Welcome,
Okay,
Alex.
thanks. Awesome. Thank you.
Welcome, Mitchell.
So moving on to presentation today from John Edmondson about Dispense Shield. Before the presentation, is there anything from staff in regards to report? Or are we just going to jump right into the presentation?
No, I will let John go ahead and jump onto this report and
Great.
and go for it, our presentation.
Thank you,
Great.
John.
Thank you for having me. I'm John Adamson. I own and I'm the founder of Dispense Shield and right here in South Pasadena. I have a great product that I want to share with you that it's an advertising platform that we are incorporating hand sanitizer dispensers into for public parks, metro rails, churches, gyms, pretty much any outdoor venue that can see this benefiting them. We're incorporating hand sanitizer and insect repellent into these boxes that will sit directly onto an advertising platform like this one, okay? And so what we're gonna be doing is we wanna put these all over the city at no cost to the city. What we'll be doing is each sign costs me about $1,000. And I have these boxes being made, custom made in China. And we'll be providing the city with free hand sanitizer and insect repellent in perpetuity. So as long as we're able to sell the advertising space on these signs, the city will be given free hand sanitizer and free insect repellent. And they come in these great gallon jugs, and it's very easy for the park maintenance staff or any maintenance staff for that venue to refill. And that would be the only requirement needed to be done by the city. And so I met with Sheila and Lori, who was on the city council on the chamber, last week. And I think they were really receptive to this, and I'm happy to present it to the city and get your feedback. Do you have any questions, anyone?
So whereabouts were you thinking about putting them all?
So if you look at the link that Israel
Right.
was gracious enough to send out, I have some mock-ups that we've created specifically for South Pasadena. And there's some locations to kind of give you an idea of where they would go. Now, mind you, this is I want to involve the city as much as possible on the design aspect, on placement, the size of the sign, you name it. I mean, this is a very flexible, hands-on thing we want the city to be involved in. So, yeah, we would, with our signs, we have an anti-graffiti film that we would put on it. Because I know Sheila mentioned that the other day. And we really just want to be helping out small businesses in the area. I know COVID has really, hit a lot of small businesses very hard. And we think this is a great platform for them to get back out there. Also, the city, I bet the city is having some budget issues with COVID, and this is a great way for the city to show their proactiveness in public health. And it's very tangible. The public will walk by these, and they'll have we'll have this sign on here that says hand sanitizer. We're working with a great company called Zone Repellent, and they're based out of Decatur, Alabama. And they know their bug sprays, they know their repellents really well. They're all EPA approved, and they're an awesome company to be working with. So yeah, Sheila, if Sheila would like to walk around the parks with me, down by the Arroyo, by the Little League fields, by the South Pasadena Library. We could even do a portable stand that we could do at the Thursday Farmers Market. Really, the possibilities are limitless.
So when me and John met, we met at Garfield Park, and Garfield is a park that is inundated in our playgrounds. We do have our special events there, and sometimes I'll tell you, sometimes when you go to the restrooms, there's not always paper towels to dry your hands. So we thought, well, if there's hand sanitizer there, you always have that. And then just the bug repellent, for concerts in the park and things. The one thing, for us is, we can, it's free to us as a city. Whoever is the advertised person, they pay for, their advertisement pays for this. And so John will just keep us stocked with the supplies that we need until that, and say that advertisement is gone after a year and there's not another one, then the sign can be removed. Or if there's another advertiser coming in, he changes that out, and that person then, picks up that supply cost, I guess. So, my side of it is parks. Obviously you guys know that. So, my thing was more, talk to you guys, kind of getting your ideas on, if hey, put one down at the Arroyo or the golf course or at Garfield, something like that. Just getting your ideas and thoughts on it. Obviously, it's nothing that we could approve tonight. It's because since it is a presentation, it'd be something that could be brought up later on in an agenda. But I just wanted him to come and give you this presentation, kind of show you what it is. The link is sent to you, and I think Israel sent it out via email as well, so you can take a look at it. He even made one that says South Pasadena Dog Park, and then he has our city logo on it. So he's got that in mind. It's not that it's going to be a generic one. It really will be, South Pasadena. I did ask, about those who he asked to advertise, really, if it could be, our own businesses in town first. Because if we're at a park and we see, Mama's Brick Oven Pizza, that might make us think, yeah, I'm gonna have pizza tonight for dinner, whatever it might be. But it gives us, our businesses, that first chance to get in there and advertise. And he's a resident and he's lived in our city forever. So he kind of understands that as well. So that was one of the reasons I really wanted him to kind of come. You guys can ask questions, anything you might want to ask him, ask it now. And it's something that we could bring back to an agenda that I would have to then, if you guys say, hey, let's look into this, see what we can do, then I would take it obviously to council.
I had two questions. You're saying that the cost of the supplies would be covered by the organization that decides to advertise. Does that include if there was any damage done to the dispensers or the signs?
Absolutely. Everything is replaced. If something is damaged or graffiti or vandalized, Dispense Shield will replace it for free to the city.
Awesome.
We have people that will come and install it. It's once we install it, the only thing the city has to do is refill the dispensers.
Yeah, city staff to do that, field staff.
The staff will receive some keys with their little keychain on here. Super easy, opens up. It's like a double clamshell method. Yeah, opens up. Got the dispenser inside. And then over here to this one. Very easy, another key on here, opens up the bottom. And then you have the container. Container comes right out. Pop the lid, you refill it. stick it right back in. Just like that. So it's easy. It's, I think it's very cost effective, and I think the city could really use it. I mean, especially in the summer when the bugs and the gnats come out, I think the insect repellent will be a huge hit.
And then to incentivize the local businesses utilizing the partnership first, is there a consideration of there being local business rates compared to outside city rates?
That is a great question. We can absolutely do that. We want to help local businesses above anyone else.
And I have one more question for staff. I know that South Pasadena City Council just passed the what was it called? Like, it's not LexisNexis, that's not right, but the advertising package for local businesses to utilize. We probably wouldn't have these signs in place for those two things to work in tandem, right?
Probably not, because they've already kind of been on their way, but it's something that we could, further look into. That's why we John involved Lori, just kind of getting her ideas and her thoughts. John, where was the one you just installed? I can't remember what city it was at. Was it Montrose? I can't remember, but you
San
just
Gabriel.
installed one, San Gabriel. So
Yeah.
in a business district. So it's getting out there, but it's, so the advertisement on that one is actually a two-sided advertisement because it had the business name on the back. So when you're walking, you can, get it from the street, you still saw that advertisement as well. So they're slowly getting out there.
How sturdy are they, John?
They're very sturdy. This is about a 3/4 inch or it's a 1/2 inch thick sign, but we can make them out of any, different types of materials. We can make them lighter weight, heavier. We post them, we bolt them onto 4x4 posts or any existing, we could even put it on a tree, or by a bathroom. Doesn't matter. We have professional installers that have all the tools that they need to make everything look clean, and it's all covered by us.
Perfect. Thank you.
John, I have a question. I think it's a great idea. How many ads are you going to have to sell in order to get this up and running, so to speak?
Well, it's really about getting a market share right now. I think we're going to be able to do some passive marketing to begin with, just with our own sign that says to advertise, please call this number, just like a for sale sign on a house.
Right.
So I think that's would be a good way of picking up business. We also have online presence as well, and we'll be advertising throughout South Pasadena papers as well to get the word out. But
Okay, gotcha.
yeah. Mhm.
Let me try and share my screen here to see if I can bring this picture. Israel, can you, you're the host, so can you let me share my screen?
And can I ask a question while you're working on that?
Sure.
So yeah, thank you, John, for the presentation. Just a question about, and I don't know whether this is something that City Council would have control over, but in terms of the quantity that you're thinking, how would there be sort of limits, or what's your kind of thoughts about that in terms of how many signs would be in each park?
And that's a great question. Thank you. I think starting small and growing is probably the best way to do this. Not throwing 30 signs in all at once. One in Garfield Park and maybe one by the Little League fields to begin with, or and see how it goes. This is a new business. We're taking some risks here to see if this can pick up some momentum. And if it doesn't work out, we just remove the signs. There's no penalty to the city. There's no skin off your back. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. We can definitely start slow.
So I'm sharing the screen. You probably do see a few of them. So he's, strategically placed them through pictures, throughout the city. So one at Garfield Park is here off to the side.
Not to scale. That looks a little bit.
Exactly. It's a little big there. And then one at the
Just
dog
wanna give you
park.
an idea. Yeah.
So I think these, oh, might be the brochure. So in your packet, I think you do have this in your packet. So it gives you a picture of it, has the insect repellent on one side, hand sanitizer on the other, and then some details like you put one in a golf course. You know, it would be great to have one down kind of by our golf course too. But those are the kind of things that, you know, he's been doing. So let's see if I can, is there another one? Oh, no. Let's see.
And I know,
If we made a, sorry, go ahead.
please, go ahead.
If we made a motion to agendize this today, would
Mhm.
coming back to the commission look like a sort of initial proposal with a number of signs and areas for us to consider?
Yes, that's exactly what it would be. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Let's see if I can. There we go. All
And
right.
so
Yes.
how the hand sanitizer and insect repellent, it gets shipped directly from Zone products in Alabama. So I don't touch it. It doesn't go through a middleman. Just, you know, I place the order and it just gets shipped right to the city. And we can talk about, you know, that's all. There's a lot of logistics that need to go into it. You know, who's receiving these shipments? Are there different locations? You know, I'll have to work with the park maintenance staff, kind of give them a little instruction on how to do this. And we're off to the races.
Yeah, I just think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, Commissioner Chapman, go ahead, please.
John, one other question. You've had some of these installed
Yes.
already. How long, might be a hard question to answer, but how fast do you think the hand sanitizers and your other
Mhm.
thing, how long do they last, do you figure? I mean, I know in restrooms, half of the time the liquid soap is gone and nobody is filling it up.
Mhm.
So and that may be another logistic, but how big is the containers?
So it fills 1,000 milliliters of product per container, and it's 0.04 milliliters per pump, and it's contactless. It's battery operated. You stick your hand underneath it, and so it's contact free. And so it's about, I guess, 200 and 2,500 pumps is what it would be. So, and you have 2 containers. So you're looking at 5,000, you know, pumps per use, per 2 dispensers. So and again, we don't know how long it's going to last. It could, last a day, could last a month.
Yeah.
We're going to supply the city with enough hand sanitizer and insect repellent to get you through at least a few months. And I'll be checking in, I'll be doing my own research to understand our product better, because it's really, like I said, this is a new product. We're still trying to get to know it. We're still trying to understand the behavior of it so that we can plan more long-term.
I like it.
Great.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think given the fact that the county has an aim of reopening by June 15th, and we already see so much traffic within Garfield Park, especially, we have, Little League back. Like there's a lot of reasons to be proactive in putting hand sanitizer out there. And it seems like a huge benefit to the city to be getting something for free. So I'd like to make a motion to agendize this formally to come back at the next commission meeting with a proposal. And it'd be nice if somehow within that proposal, there was just language about the evaluation that John was talking about, where we could also hear some of that evaluation, whether that's like a 3-month revisit or 6-month revisit, to see if it warrants including expanding the contract to include more signs.
Great.
So is there a second?
Well, can I just ask a question? I'm sorry.
Of course.
Can we have a chance to discuss it first before we get more presentation? Or are you suggesting we get more details and then discuss it at a future meeting?
So this is as a presentation, we can't take any action on it. So I'm motioning to bring it back as a formally agendized item where we would still have further discussion and actually take a vote as to whether we want council to see this product.
So you're not, because I thought you were asking Mr. Adamson to come back with a more formal.
No, I'm saying that the
Okay,
proposal, it would
okay.
be nice if the proposal included a timeline of evaluation for it to come back, not just to council potentially, but actually also to I think us as commissioners as well would be interested in hearing the evaluation process. So if the proposal could include us as well to hear about the evaluation.
Yeah, and that it should come to you first so that you have a full understanding of everything before it does go to council. And so, because when I go to council and I say, you know, Parks and Rec Commission, you know, fully vets this, they think it's a great idea, you know, I want you to, you know, to be able to stand true to your word, that you understand it fully, what their, you know, what their proposal is and everything.
Right.
So we will have more time for discussion between the commissioners somewhere along the line.
Yes, at the next meeting, I will agendize it, have a report for you.
Okay,
And then that's where you can have your
That will be
full-blown
discussion.
discussion. Just because this is just a presentation, you ask him questions, take it all in, and then ask to, you know, obviously take this motion to agendize it.
okay, thank you.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
There you go, Dolly.
Okay, Commissioner Chapman seconds. Can we get a roll call vote?
Is you really want to just go ahead and call roll?
Vice Chair Roche,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Yes,
Commissioner Tamas,
Yes.
Commissioner Chapman.
Yes,
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you guys so much. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
thank you, John. Appreciate it.
It's very nice talking to you all. I look forward to speaking to you again soon. And
Yeah, I'll speak with you soon, John. And
Great.
we'll have a presentation ready for the next time, or proposal ready to get all the information you need. So you don't have to stay on the meeting, but you're more than welcome to.
thank you so much. I'm actually going to get back to work if you don't mind.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Take care.
Thank you so much.
bye-bye.
Have a great
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for having us.
No
Thank you.
problem. Thank you.
Take care.
So moving on in the agenda, if we have remarks from Council Member Donovan as our City Council liaison.
I was just like, I still on mute, no. I'd just like to bring up the important issues that happened at the council meeting last Wednesday. It was a long council meeting, there was a lot on there. So I just try to bring back what I thought were the two most important things. Actually, the council meeting did not adjourn till after 1:30, so it covered a lot. The two biggest items were the hero pay. And after much discussion and came to a compromise. Compromise was to okay the hero pay for 45 days and to bring it up again after 45 days and at $3 an hour to take effect almost immediately. And it would only affect businesses above a certain size. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but it really would not affect the small businesses within the city. And that was one item. The other big item, anybody have a question on that, or I'll keep going? Okay. The other big item was I'm sorry, okay. The other big item was Caltrans housing. We've been working on that for a few months, and we brought it to the council meeting, the ad hoc committee, to get the council's approval to amend the bill that is going to the Appropriations Committee at the end of the month, the beginning of May in Sacramento to get approved. The bill as originally okayed by the council, it was put on the agenda pending a lot of discussion to come. A lot of the discussion has already come with 5 community meetings, a big community. This is important. A big community meeting is scheduled for this Wednesday that happened late today. So that anybody wants to have input can get in. It's between 3 and we're estimating maybe till 6 to 6 p.m. That'll be 2 days from now. So the details, I don't have them yet. We just okayed the meeting. But as far as how you get connected in, it'll be on the city council website. And then depending upon the comments that come from that, then it'll be agendized on the next council meeting. And if the council approves amendments to the bill, which is what the ad hoc committee is hoping, then they will be submitted to the appropriations committee prior to the meeting, which is at the end of the month. And it's either going to be, council's either going to approve it or not. So if you support it, or I really probably shouldn't be, I'm on the committee, so obviously I'm supporting it. You know, look into this meeting. It's the biggest thing that's been on the agenda for months and months. And it's the city taking acquisition to 68 parcels that are now owned by Caltrans and putting the city in charge of the disposition of those properties. It's very complicated. So that's about all I'll comment on it now. And that's the two big items. If anybody has any questions, I'll answer them or we'll move on.
Any questions for Councilmember Donovan?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Moving on to commissioner communications. Do we have any communications from commissioners that are present?
I'll start if that's okay with everyone. We have a huge graffiti problem. And I know that the city's aware of it. I'm constantly calling and sending out, taking photos and things. Before it was, you'd get here and there some items and it wasn't that large, but Orange Grove Park, the benches, the floors are the snack stand at the Little League runs, and the bathrooms were just, decimated. There was a ton of graffiti everywhere. And then down at in the Arroyo, all the little sheds that are little public houses, little South Pasadena, utility boxes and sheds where the city has their electrical and stuff like that. All of those sheds and things have been vandalized, besides the bathrooms at the Arroyo and things like that. I understand I don't know what we can do. We're always, vigilant when we're there, but I'm sure this is happening in the middle of the night. Once the parks are dark, and there's not really anything nobody sees anybody. We're noticing also that folks have been using the benches and sleeping, setting up their sleeping bags underneath benches and using them for, there you go. Yeah, so, if there's anything that the city and us, the commission, can work on and do and help each other out, to see what we, how we can, attack this and keep it, from spreading even larger. And I haven't seen the other parks. I've been mostly at Orange Grove and Arroyo Park, but I'm sure they've hit other parks.
I have a question. Is that okay if I ask a question, Sheila, of you? Do we have any insight as to the tagging itself? If it's
Oh my gosh.
like, is it gang related? Does it seem like it's just like bored kids? Like, is there any insight into like who's doing it? Are they actually in South Pasadena or probably outside of South Pasadena just coming through?
You know, it's hard to say. We have been inundated everywhere. And so I think, you know, the kids are bored or, I don't, you know, this COVID has just brought out a side of people that, but it's, Orange Grove got hit really bad. What was it, 2 weekends ago, 3 weekends ago now? And it was, they got on the roof, you know, broke tiles that are ceiling tiles, you know, and did it really high. They just tore up the bathrooms. They did the poles and the light poles and the picnic tables and the benches. And so I've been working with PD to try, you know, if they find something, they always will contact me so that I can turn something in if I need to turn something in to, you know, for them first to look at it, to keep in their documents. But I haven't, they haven't notified me of like a certain gang or anything like that.
Right.
The youth house has been hit. I think Eddie Park might be the only one that hasn't. It's because it's so in that neighborhood that it kind of hides, which is a good thing. But the Arroyo gets hit a lot too, just because you go down there at night, it's really dark. So it's just
And then
something that, go ahead.
Is it field services staff that gets sent out to paint over it, or who?
We have a contract service that comes out and paints over.
Okay, at the
You know, like those-
of the city, obviously.
Yeah, so they contact, if I see it, I'll usually take pictures and I'll send a work order into Public Works and then they put it through the system. But we all kind of have a phone number we can call. That's kind of like a 24-hour hotline type thing that we just tell them where it's at. But Public Works usually tries to take a bulk of it to send it to them all at once, especially on a Monday morning. What we usually do is, you know, we do the parks and then all the pictures come to me and then I just send them straight to Public Works. So, yeah.
Yeah, I have no suggestions
have-
for how to fix it, but I did just want to, make one suggestion of groups. I know my Rotary Club in particular has been looking for service opportunities all throughout COVID, which is hard to do as groups. I don't know if maybe it'd be worth asking any of the service organizations in the community if they wanted to have one of their services be a park cleanup day that includes assisting with this. I mean, again, it doesn't help with what's causing it, but I don't know if it could help the city with the labor cost side of things of trying to use our civil servant groups more somehow.
That's a great idea. Karen, did you have something?
Yeah, I was just curious, and you know, I'm sure you may all have already thought about this a lot, but the lighting, you know, I know that's a big issue. I think in terms of prevention, you know, ensuring that the areas are lit brightly, even, you know, all night. And so I just wonder if anyone has surveyed that, you know, situation and whether that's something we could afford, you know, to do something about. And the other thing is, you know, like plantings or, you know, like I'm sure there's people who specialize in this, right? In just making it more difficult, right? Or moving things so that, right, there's less access, which I think alone, you know, could prevent some of it. And then also awareness. I wonder if we should somehow do some kind of communications or comms, you know, strategy, you know, talking to kids at the high school, you know, sort of getting the youth council involved or youth commission, you know, because I think maybe if kids are talking amongst themselves, you know, and sort of kind of take a leadership role and sort of ask them to figure out, you know, how they would educate their peers or, you know, at least, and we don't know where it's coming from. And, you know, I don't think necessarily more enforcement will, you know, will help, but maybe just more awareness and more kind of pride and kids looking out for that maybe could help. I think you went muted, Sheila.
Sorry. I will bring that up to Youth Commission. They've been looking for service hours and maybe park cleanup days might be a good Saturday morning, get out there and, you know, do as much as they can. I think that's a great idea. The planting too, I like. If at Arroyo, I know Alberto talks about the small buildings. Well, all those little buildings are cell tower buildings. And so the cell tower companies is the person who's supposed to clean them up. But they're just nice blank canvases, really.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and then I know what a lot of other cities do, right, is put murals, right, or things there that are less likely to be
Right.
defaced.
right.
So I don't know, I wonder if the kids, if that youth commission might have ideas, both how to like spread the word around other teenagers and through the schools maybe, as
Right.
well
Okay.
as like, what can we do with some of these blank, make these canvases not blank.
That's true, because if you go down the underpass at
tunnel,
Arroyo, I mean,
yeah.
nobody touches that. So, okay.
And that's also a way to, like you see it around other cities too. Like there's some, a way to hire, or get graffiti artists, right, to come in
Right.
and make something beautiful.
Yeah.
And then it's, that doesn't tend to happen.
Right. Have you seen that one mural they put up on Fifth Mission there of
Yes.
Cody? I mean, that is
Yeah.
amazing. It's a beautiful mural. He's very much an artist.
Yeah.
So. These are all great ideas, and I think that let me work with our youth commission, but also not just on a cleanup day, but just on a education to the teens. Albert, Alberto, did you have anything more? That was big.
Everybody's aware that there was a little brush fire over at Claridge yesterday.
No.
Oh, nobody was okay.
Nobody told me yesterday.
Oh, I mean, it was quick. It was I couldn't. It looks like it started from the Arroyo Drive, and it kind of
so it's on the
down.
hill.
It came down the hill, but there was a ton of smoke down there. It came down the hill towards the right field fencing area. Never really got over. The fire departments that were there went in and shut it down from the top, and they got rid of it really quick. And so, but they were there. It was a little fire. I don't know if it was somebody that was lighting a cigarette or doing something, and it kind of caught our little brush area going. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for letting us know about that. No, I hadn't gotten anything saying that had happened. So.
Okay.
Thank you. And just so you guys know, at Arroyo, there's the 3 fields on the north side. And so in my head, I always say NBC. So N is Nelson, and it's farther by the one by the stables. And then B is the kind of the middle one. That's Burke. And then Claridge is the one that's right next to the hillside. So if you kind of, when you come in, just think NBC, that's how you'll remember the fields.
Any other commissioner communications? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, Sheila, I don't know if this is the right time, but what about an update on our little pocket parks? I had heard that a contract was issued for something in Berkshire.
Yes, I will give you that update during mine. I'll give you that update when you guys are finished with your comments.
Okay, that's fine.
Commissioner Tamas?
Thank you. Yeah, so I spend a lot of time checking up on Eddy Park, and there are 3 new signs that have appeared on the wall facing the park. So in the park, but it's on a wall where there's a private home on the other side. And the signs are talking about the wall being private property. And the person who lives there also has been reprimanding the kids who are playing in the little area right next. If you all are aware of the little Girl Scout bridge where they do bridging ceremonies, and there's that sort of dirt area and there's trees. And a lot of the kids like to play over there. Thank you, Sheila. That's one of the signs. So there's 3 of them along the wall. And so a number of kids have been told that they're not allowed to play in that area going up against the wall. which is technically part of the park. I mean, officially, for sure, part of the park. So I wanted to check in. I took a picture of one of those signs and sent it to Sheila. And, I don't know what is private property, right? Like whether that wall actually is private property or whether it's park, but it's certainly the border. And then I would imagine that dirt area and where the bridge is part of the park. And so children would be allowed to play there. But I think we need to address it because it's become an issue.
Right. So, thanks, Karen, for going, for sending that. So I am kind of working with, we've always had that neighbor next to us at that park. It's funny because I think they sold, and whoever came in, because there was an older lady there and she would just yell at the kids and everything and call us constantly. And, after a while, she just kind of resigned herself that she's like, I bought by a park. And so I will work with them a little bit more, and also I'll work with Public Works on seeing if we can get a hedge put up. Take a little bit to grow, but like you were saying, planting would help. Maybe just alleviate some of that noise there, because that is the bridging area. There's a monument there for it. So I believe this person has called Public Works many a times wanting the bridge moved. And why don't you move it out of the way? Yeah, and so I keep telling Public Works that don't touch that bridge. We've already gone through this one time about it being, because Public Works took it out one time because they're like, oh, it's a hazard. It's all, and the wood is rotted. And I said, but you can't take it out. So it was memorialized that bridge will stay. So I will work on this and get back to you. I'll probably just send an email out to you guys letting you know kind of an update, but if not, then I also will come back to the next meeting.
I appreciate that, because I also was asked by folks who want to plan a Girl Scout event, there, whether it's allowed.
It is.
So I said it is allowed,
Yes.
but that I would bring it to the commission. So I
Yes.
appreciate the your work on it.
No problem.
And then my remarks were brief about Garfield Park. I feel like the trash issue has become better. I mean, I don't know if other commissioners have experienced something different, but I know I usually go really early in the mornings, and on the weekends, what would happen is, the park is so well loved that the trash would have been piled up, which we discussed. And then the next day it would still be there. So going, early Sunday morning, still be there. And I'm finding that it's emptied, and I think that's great. So great job.
We've actually had, we went to our contract group, and they actually, we extended our contract, for a little bit more money, but then they came back and said, well, with COVID, we don't have the staffing. And so our Public Works would have an overtime staff come in on the weekends. And so they've been doing that. And I think it's been helping. And so I think we're all trying to figure out how it can work. I know I was trying to get my recreation leaders, even though they're furloughed, there's some of them that are just really want to work. But they're union and it's not in their job description. So we have to kind of go through, we're trying to think if we have them sign a form that says they're okay to pick up trash. So we're working on that, but it has, a lot of people have told us it has, called just to say, I don't know what you did, but thank you. The trash is gone. Even at Library Park, people have just, it's amazing that people call and say, thank you for picking up the trash, so it has been helping. And so we're going to continue to work on this. So, and really thanks to Councilor Donovan, who was really on it. He took what you guys said and he took it to council, and he brought it up. And that's really what gets things done when, so many emails don't work. So we appreciate that.
Council member, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? Okay, moving on to staff liaison communications.
Okay, so I will give you an update on the Pocket Park. So yes, the contract with Dave Voles and Associates, the design group, was brought back. And so I've just received that in the insurance. I'm waiting for the PO to be signed by the finance director. And once I get that, we will probably plan a community meeting for either late April, May. This, what we'll do is it'll bring that last design we worked on back to a community forum. So we will do probably an online forum until they say that we can kind of start doing some others. We might do an online and then maybe in person, maybe in June, just so that May will be, okay, here's the meeting. This is where we were at. And what are your thoughts? Do we need to add, delete, da, 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 da? And then the next meeting will come back again, obviously, and say, these are the changes, so that everybody kind of gets that view and get their comments in. The commission say, okay, we're good with this. So let's take it to council, and then we'll take it to council at that point. So it's moving forward. Hoping to have, like I said, a community meeting by the end of this month or May, and then another one in June, and then hopefully July, August, get it to council and kind of say, okay, everybody's good with this. Are you good with this? And if they have any changes or needs or anything, to go that route, and then go to bid for construction documents. And that'll take, probably 2 or 3 months for construction documents. And once all that's done and then gone through the whole approval process through Public Works and planning, then be able to go out to bid for construction. So maybe by the January, we'll be, out to bid for construction and looking for, something built by May, June, July of next year. So
Sheila, is
Yes.
it Berkshire or Grevillea?
we're gonna do both at this concurrently for design and probably design and construction documents, but do Berkshire first in the way of the build, just because that is our Parkport area. And then go to the Grevillea site,
Okay.
unless council changes that, but that's kind of my look at where I'm going.
Gotcha.
So we did, any other questions on Pocket Park? We had our extravaganza drive-through. We had about 400 people sign up. It was the Saturday before Easter. It was well attended. We had Spark, AYSO, the Vecinos. Oh, I'm going to forget somebody. Brit West Soccer, our youth commissioners, Chinese American Club, and the library all gave different things to the kids that came through. So it was really nice. I know that COVID's been difficult, but it's been fun to have the organizations come out, because usually it's just us and we just do it. And now we're going to just, no matter drive through or in person, we're just going to start bringing organizations in, because I think it's a great way. Grocery Outlet was there. So people can see them, and Grocery Outlet gave like a $5 coupon off of their groceries. I mean, that's great. So, it's nice. And I think, it's a way for organizations to get their information out there. The CNOs was, it's just nice. People understand that we do have these organizations in town, and, if they're having events or something, somebody can get involved and want to be a part of their organization. So it was a very good event. And then I will talk about summer when we get to number 7.
Thank you for the staff liaison communications. Moving on to approval of the March 8th, 2021 minutes. If there are any comments, or if there are no comments, if I can get a motion to approve the March 8th, 2021 meeting minutes.
I'll make the move to approve the March 8th, 2021 meeting minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All vote.
Vice Chair Rocha,
Yes.
Commissioner Ocon,
Yes.
Commissioner Chapman,
Yes,
Commissioner Tamas,
Yes.
motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To item 7, moving on, nominations of summer events subcommittee. It sounds like, Sheila, you wanted to do a little bit of setup for it.
Yes. So I know the last meeting we talked about summer and us kind of, putting a lot of things on hold. Well, it seems like California is going to open on June 18th. I'm sure the county will, is going to have their guidelines either by then or soon thereafter. But I figured it would be best. I know we always do a concert committee. But if I could get 2 commissioners to sit on a subcommittee so we can discuss all these different guidelines for programs, from concerts to Shakespeare in the Park, to movies in the park, to camps, to classes, to contract camps. I just think it would be, it would give you your input, and then we can bring it back to the committee or to the commission and say, okay, this is kind of what we want to do going forward. Kind of getting your thoughts too on, I will put budgets together, and our budgets are coming up due for the city, but I mean, I can at least say, okay, this is what it's going to cost. I don't have money right now in the budget for until July 1. Because we've kind of trying to finish out this year with the budget that was just approved last council meeting. So this would all start at July 1 and forward. So I just want to see if I can get 2 people that me and Melissa can Zoom with you and just kind of get your thoughts and ideas on genre of music, movies, if we're going to do a Shakespeare, and then we do have, we always do National Night Out. Is it something we want to continue to do? So just get your ideas on all these things, so that when I come back to the whole commission, they know that, this is from you as well, and they can ask you questions on how we got to where we got. So is there a nomination for anyone who'd like to be on this committee?
I'll do it, Sheila.
I'm in.
Okay, well,
Got
can
it.
I get, I think Victoria is gonna do a nomination and everything,
Yes,
so.
so I motion to nominate Commissioners Chapman and O'Con for the Summer Events Subcommittee. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Tamas seconds. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Vice Chair Rocha,
Yes.
Commissioner Ocon,
Yes,
Commissioner Chapman,
Yes,
Commissioner Tamas,
Yes.
motion carries 4-0.
Thank you guys
Great.
for volunteering so
I
enthusiastically.
know, I was like, how is that gonna be?
I was like, I guess. And like this year, it's like, yes, COVID is coming to an end. Hopefully, let's do
I
it.
know,
You know,
exactly.
last year's nomination for the concerts in the park and stuff. Once I got all that thing, it looked fun. It
Okay.
really
Yeah.
was, and I was really enthused, and I'm glad that we're able to do something, and I'm
Yeah.
That's a
definitely
good
in.
endorsement.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, we have a guideline right now for the outdoor events. I'm actually on the committee with LA County Health Department to create these new guidelines. But I mean, right now, if I were to have a concert, I have to do a 12 by 12 box for a family with 6 feet in between the next box. So I'd have to chalk boxes out, and you have to like reserve the boxes. And how do you do this on a park that's a public facility that anybody can come in? And it's just like, oh, wow. So hopefully things will open up by June, and by the time we start really having our concerts, so they can kind of go back to normal. And I think people will be respectful on their own.
Mhm.
I really do. So I thank you. And I will be in touch with you to schedule a meeting. I appreciate that.
Okay, and for our last item of the evening, discussion and recommendation regarding the installation of a new scoreboard at Orange Grove Park by South Pasadena Little League.
Yay. Okay, so I know we discussed a little bit of this. Well, we didn't discuss it. I just blurted it out because Alberto didn't want to, take credit for his hard work on getting these grants. But so the South Pasadena Little League will be receiving the scoreboard and the bleachers. And so I am coming to you, and Alberto's coming to you on behalf of South Pasadena Little League president and not as a commissioner tonight, so he'll abstain from the vote. But I need to come forward and get your approval, and then to go to council, say, okay, well, we're putting up this, scoreboard. You three might say, no, I don't want it. But so They did receive this grant that'll install a electronic scoreboard. Currently, the scoreboard is right kind of at the end of the dugout on the first base side. They're looking to locate it now back along the back fence under the flag. If I say something wrong, Alberto, please correct me, but I'm under the flag there. And it'll be larger, a little bit, I think double the size.
I'm going to probably say closer to 3 times the size.
Okay, 3 times. Yeah, it's a bigger square. And so it's going to be back there. The lighting of it is not going to affect the residents because the lighting will go forward towards our mission. And it'll obviously only be on when there's games played. They really won't have the scoreboard morning during a practice. So it won't really be a lighting problem. The only thing is we might have, residents say, oh, I can't see something, the one especially that's right behind the sign. So we have reached out to those groups, and there's obviously nobody on the call, but I will reach out again or the Zoom call. I'll reach out again to the residents individually through a letter, asking them to, we did not get a response. Do you have any concerns? Because once Little League starts taking this through like the Planning Commission and Public Works on getting permits and everything, that's one of the things we're going to ask. And so I wanted to make sure we did our due diligence on sending things out to residents in that area on El Centro and getting any feedback. And I don't want to just say, okay, well, we didn't get any. So I'll probably make more of a contact with that block of residents so that I have that information if council, does ask, or if it's part of the permit process, where the residents notified, if they were there any comments? So, but, I want to bring this to you as, kind of getting your recommendation that it would be okay to install this new sign at the park for Little League. And if you guys have any questions, I can answer. And if I can't, I have a professional on the line.
Well, thank you, Sheila. Members of the commission. So I ended up sending Sheila, and it's in our packages, the model and the design of the scoreboard. And so there's a couple of things that were changed. We were getting a scoreboard and also benches at Claridge. Okay. And then we discussed with the grant how much money, if we wanted to go with a larger scoreboard, Little League would have to come up. And in the end, the grant, they went ahead and said, we will pay for the entire scoreboard, the larger version of it. Okay. With the scoreboard, and if you see, it's model 3388, and it's quite a bit larger than the existing one, and it is in the back closest to the flagpole, because in the past, when they erected the flag post with the lighting and everything else, the electricity's there. And the reason that we couldn't go to the smaller version on right next to the park, the costs were going to be almost the same, because it had to be a new pole, new footing, just the dimensions in order to hold up the scoreboard were going to be just as expensive. So bless you. So in the details, I put in there, and they've got in the different pages, the location, the installing mounts and poles, and what it entails to put it out there. There are some designs that show on the third page that show the front of the scoreboard, how it would be mounted up high, and it's like, and also the back of the scoreboard where it would be right up against the wall. There are more details. Well, there's the smaller version and there's the larger version. So we are going to look into doing the larger version. It's a little bigger. Like Sheila mentioned, the scoreboard really doesn't go on except for games. And it's usually, we do have some weekday games. Most of the time it's used on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays during the day, or sometimes in the evening. And so it's not really, the only thing is you're going to see that there's a big scoreboard there. That's not really it's going to be paired and tried to be assimilated into the park, where it's just, oh wow, there's a new scoreboard there. It's not some monstrosity or something that's gonna light fixtures or anything else there. I know that I did send, it's a ton of paperwork and stuff, but I sent it, but I wanted to let the commission know that they are donating to us a total of like $22,000. The scoreboard itself is about $12,000, and all the construction is about $9,000. So it's about a $22,000 donation that Ballpark Buns is donating to the Little League and the city. And excuse me. And if there's any costs for permits, engineering, anything else that the city will ask for different funds that are requested, the Little League will go ahead and pay for those. We'll see what, as much as we can, whatever it needs to be. If there are funds that need to be paid, we'll get out there. We'll also ask for some waivers if it's at all possible, but also understand that some costs have to be met. Just in case, engineering, anything that the city might need that will be out of their pocket, we're more than willing to put up and get out there. I think the last scoreboard that was ever put up was actually the Orange Grove. I think that the Claridge and the Nelsons were done quite a way back before the Orange Grove one was. And the smaller version that we had at Orange Grove is now obsolete. It's just we tried to repair it, but it's unrepairable, the things that we have to do to it. So I've been, now for a couple of years, we've been looking and asking for grants, applying for them everywhere we can to improve our ballparks, our fields, and then also our scoreboard, snack bars, whatever we can. And we are very fortunate and hoping that, the city, our Parks and Rec Commission, our Public Works, our Planning Commission, and also our City Council will be, gracious enough to allow us to be able to put up this really nice scoreboard that will be out at Orange Grove for mainly softball. Our girls softball community will have the nicest scoreboard around in a lot of cities. Any questions, anything that, concerns that will come up that I can answer for you at the moment?
Any questions? I had a comment though. I just wanted to say
Yes.
congratulations for getting a grant, because obviously that saves the city $22,000. And I am not originally from South Pasadena. I am a transplant. I moved in, and I'm coming to learn how much South Pasadena Little League is clearly a pride and joy of the city. So it's obviously, even when you're talking about residents being canvassed to make sure that the light doesn't bother them. I'm sure they're so used to it because it's mainly probably a noise thing that they kind of had to buy into more so than lights. And I'm sure that's never really been an issue. And so just congratulations on getting grants. They're hard to get, and excited to see the sign if the commission decides to make the recommendation of moving forward with installation.
Oh, definitely. Thank you. That's thank you. Yeah, it'd be great. And then hopefully if everything goes, the way it should be and it is put up, we'll have a big celebration and try to get everybody out there and initiate it. So we're little by little. I know our past president and resident, Sam Hernandez, is also involved in helping me out with the planning and the public works. He's on a couple of commissions, I think. I'm not exactly sure which ones, but I know that he's a local contractor, and he's put up the scoreboards as well in the past at Claridge and Nelson. So his experience is really appreciated, and he's helping me move this forward and getting it underway. So I really appreciate the commission's support on this, and like I said, any concerns, any questions, please feel free to contact me and let me know, and hopefully we can get this underway.
Do I have a motion?
Sure. I will, what should it be exactly?
I think the motion is to recommend moving forward with the installation of a new scoreboard at Orange Grove Park.
All right. I will gladly and happily make that motion to recommend moving forward the new scoreboard at Orange Grove Park for our girls softball. Yay.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Wonderful, thank you. Can we have a roll call vote?
Yes. Vice Chair Rocha,
Yes.
Commissioner Chapman,
Yes.
Commissioner Tamas,
Yes, for sure.
okay, and Commissioner Ocon abstain.
I
Motion
will
carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. It's really, yeah. Until it gets put up, you'll see me like jump up for joy and be really, really excited. It's the other thing that I did, I should have mentioned, and I forgot at the commission at the deals is Ballpark Funds is donating, and I'll get the details and then bring them in for our next meeting. They want to plant a tree at the ballpark somewhere in South Pasadena, somewhere at the by the ballparks, or Orange Grove. We would have to. There was some nice spots over by Claridge, and maybe even the Burke or Nelson area that they spotted out. They would like to put in a tree. They already sent me the placard where they'd like to plant it and have us put a placard on it. Again, once I get all the details from them, I will push it forward to Sheila and then the commission and then everything else through the city that we need to do. So they are.
I will send you the tree. We have a tree donation form thing, so I will send that to you.
That would be great. Yeah. Yeah, they were excited too. I told them that we are a U.S. tree city for
USA.
half a century. It said, so they were like, "Oh my gosh, this is great!" So I was, that's a nice gesture as well that they want to put out there. So it'd be great. All right.
Sheila, point of order for adjournment. There have to be a motion and a second for adjournment, but no vote, or can it just adjourn?
Right. Just
Oh,
you
yeah.
can adjourn the meeting
Okay.
at a certain whatever time.
Okay, so if there's any other questions or comments, I motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:39 p.m. with our future meeting, next meeting being May 10th, 2021 at 6:30 over Zoom.
Excellent.
Great. Thank you, everyone, and
Thank you.
we will talk soon. Remember, call or email if you see anything out of park that you need attention. So thank you. Thanks for being out there.
Thank you.
Sheila,
Thank you,
can I
Sheila
ask
and
you a
and
question?
Israel.
Yes.
Can I
go
stay
ahead.
on real quick with you for
Oh,
a
yeah,
question?
that's fine.
Okay, awesome. And
Don't
everybody's
cut us off,
welcome to it.
April.
It's just,
Bye.
yeah, it's
Take care.
stuff, but thank you guys.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Yeah.
So the light bulb stuff.
Yes, so I yeah, I didn't
Well, I
know
did-
that